Hi guys, it's me, Princess Panda ASMR, and I'm back with another video. In today's video, this is my third try doing this. First time my hair was braided and kept hitting the mic. You know, when it's down and it hits the mic, it just kind of like a brushing sound. But when it's up, like braided, it like smacks the mic hard. And I don't know how to edit, guys. If any of you have any tips on editing, I have a cell phone. I have a Galaxy. So if anybody has tips on how to edit, please let me know, because I don't know how. I also have a Yeti mic, but I'm not able to use it yet because I don't have a computer, and I tried to use it on my phone, and the sound and the audio, the audio and the video weren't compatible. Like they weren't. It looked like one of those old movies where you would talk and say different things than what you were seeing it say. That's what it looked like. So unless I can learn to fix that, I won't be able to use it until I get a computer. But it is what it is, right? Like, I'm grateful to have it, and so that way when I can use it, I will use it. Pretty excited about that, actually. Anyway, so the second time I made this video, the lighting was so off because it was at night and I didn't have any lighting out, and it just bad. So in the spirit of Halloween, we're going to be reading some stories out of this book. Now, I had no idea this book even existed until a few months ago. And don't ask me how I didn't know, because I was a Goosebumps kid and liked all the creepy kind of stuff. Never really grew out of that, but I do like that type of thing. So I'll probably continue to do stuff like this even after Halloween, if I could think. But in the spirit of Halloween, we'll start reading them this month. So I bought this for about $20 on Amazon. And there's 3 books, and this is 3 books in one. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 3. And it is scary. Stories. To tell in the dark, 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 dark. 3 books to chill your bones. Now a major motion picture. Also, guys, if you hear a lot of background noise, I'm so sorry. It's like 10 something in the morning, and I just kind of film when I am able to. But anyhow, I'm going to go straight to the second chapter because the whole first chapter is jump scare stuff, stories, and I won't do jump scares in ASMR. I feel like that's just so rude. Okay. First of all, look at all this artwork, how awesome it is. It's really cool. Okay. Like, look how creepy. It's so flippin' cool. Ted Martin and Sam Miller were good friends. This is called The Thing, by the way. They spent a lot of time together. On this particular night, they were sitting on a fence near the post office talking about one thing and another. There was a field of turnips across the road. Suddenly, they saw something. Sorry, I have a notification that kind of surprised me. Suddenly, they saw something crawl out of the bed and stand up. It looked like a man, but in the dark, it was hard to tell for sure. Then it was gone. But soon it appeared again. It walked halfway across the road. Then it turned around and went back into the field. Then it came out a third time and started towards them. By now, Ted and Sam were scared. They started running, but when they finally stopped, they decided they were being foolish. They weren't sure what had scared them. They had decided to go back and get a better look. Pretty soon they saw it. It was coming to meet them. It was wearing black pants and a white shirt and black suspenders. Sam said, "I'm going to try to touch it. Then we will know if it's real." He walked up to it and peered into its face. It had bright, penetrating eyes sunk deep in its head. It looked like a skeleton. Ted took one look and screamed, and again he and Sam ran. But this time, the skeleton followed them. When they got to Ted's house, they stood in the doorway and watched it. It stayed out in the road for a while. Then it disappeared. A year later, Ted got sick and died. Toward the end, Sam sat up with him every night. The night Ted died, Sam said he looked just like the skeleton. Now, I will say that one's actually pretty sad. And also, just like note this. If you and your friend are seeing the same thing, the same exact thing at the same exact moment, chances are that it's real. Just saying. Cold as clay. Cold. A farmer had a daughter for whom he cared for more than anything on earth. She fell in love with a farmhand named Jim. But the farmer did not think Jim was good enough for his daughter. I burped, by the way. Excuse me. To keep them apart, he sent her to live with her uncle on the other side of the country. Soon after she left, Jim got sick, and he wasted away and died. Everyone said he had died of a broken heart. The farmer felt so guilty about Jim's death. He could not think to tell his daughter what had happened. She continued to think about Jim and the life they might have had together. One day, many weeks later, there was a knock on her uncle's door. When the girl opened it, Jim was standing there. "Your father asked me to get you," he said. "I came on his best horse." "Is anything wrong?" she asked. "I don't know," he said. She packed a few things and they left. She rode behind him, clinging to his waist. Soon he complained of a headache. "It aches something terrible," he told her. She put her hand on his forehead. "Why are you cold as clay?" she said. "I hope you are not ill." And she wrapped her handkerchief around his head. They traveled so swiftly that in a few hours they reached the farm. The girl quickly dismounted and knocked on the door. Her father was startled to see her. "Didn't you send for me?" she asked. "No, I didn't," he said. She turned to Jim, but he was gone, and so was the horse. Then they went to the stable to look for them. The horse was there. It was covered with sweat and trembling with fear. But there was no sign of Jim. Terrified, her father told her the truth about Jim's death. Then quickly he went to see Jim's parents. They decided to open his grave. The corpse was in its coffin, but around its head they found the girl's handkerchief. I'm going to read two more out of another chapter. Alligators, which this doesn't have a picture with it. A young woman in town married a man from another part of the country. He was a nice fellow and they got along pretty well. There was only one problem. Every night he'd go swimming in the river. Sometimes he'd be gone all night and she would complain about how lonely she was. The couple had 2 young sons. As soon as the boys could walk, their father began to teach them how to swim. And then they got to be old enough, he'd take them swimming in the river at night. Often they would stay there all night long, and the young woman would be at home by herself. After a while, she began to act in a strange way. At least that is what the neighbors said. She told them that her husband was turning into an alligator and that he was trying to turn the boys into alligators. Everybody told her there was nothing wrong with a man taking his son swimming, that it was a natural thing to do. And then when it came to alligators, there just weren't any nearby. Everybody knew that. Early one morning, the young woman came running into town from the direction of the river. She was soaking wet. She said a big alligator and 2 little alligators had pulled her in and tried to get her to eat a raw fish. They were her husband and her sons, she said. They wanted her to live with them, but she had gotten away. Her doctor decided she had lost her mind. And he had her put in the hospital for a while. After nobody saw her husband and boys again, they just disappeared. But now and then, the fishermen would tell us about seeing alligators in the river at night. Usually it was 1 big one and 2 small ones. People said they're just making it up. Everyone knows there aren't any alligators around here. The artwork is just awesome. Room for one more. A man named Joseph Blackwell came to Philadelphia on a business trip. He stayed with his friends in the big house they owned outside the city. I'm trying to make sure I don't hit the mic. That night they had a good time visiting. But when Blackwell went to bed, he tossed and turned and couldn't sleep. Sometime during the night, he heard a car turn into the driveway. He went to the window to see who it was, arriving at such a late hour. In the moonlight, he saw a long black hearse filled with people. The driver at the hearse looked up at him. When Blackwell saw his queer, hideous face, he shuddered. The driver called to him, "There is room for one more." Then he waited for a minute or two and he drove off. In the morning, Blackwell told his friends what had happened. "You were dreaming," they said. "I must have been," he said, "but it didn't seem like a dream." After breakfast, he went into Philadelphia. He spent the day high above the city in one of the new office buildings there. Late in the afternoon, he was waiting for an elevator to take him back down the street. But when it arrived, it was very crowded. One of the passengers looked out and called to him, there is room for one more." He said it was the driver of the hearse. "No thanks," said Mr. Blackwell. "I'll get the next one." The doors closed and the elevator started down. There was shrieking and screaming, and then the sound of a crash. The elevator had fallen to the bottom of the shaft. Everyone on board was killed. I'm going to read one more. I'm trying to find the little... The hearse song. And I don't know the tune to which this actually goes, so I'm just gonna make one, okay? Like, there's no one here and something just fell downstairs, so that was a little creepy. Sorry. Anyway, it's probably just a cup or something. The hearse song. Don't you ever laugh as the hearse goes by, for you may be the next to die. They wrap you up in a big white sheet from your head down to your feet. They put you in a big black box and cover you up with dirt and rocks. All goes well for about a week. Then your coffin begins to leak. The worms crawl in, the worms crawl out. The worms play, I don't know that word, pinochle on your snout. They eat your eyes, they eat your nose. They eat the jelly between your toes. A big green worm with rolling eyes crawls in your stomach and out of your eyes. Your stomach turns in a slimy green, and pus pours out like whipping cream. You spread it on a slice of bread. That's what you eat when you are dead. I've never seen that word before in my entire life. I'm gonna Google it. When you don't know something, it's okay to admit you don't know. Just try to learn. That is all for today. And with that last one, I hope that you really enjoyed. I'm going to be making some more of these and going to try to do more variety of the creepy stuff because it's what I enjoy to watch. It's what I enjoy watching. What is up with my language today? So, anyway, if you like, please subscribe for more videos later. Man, I made myself tired. I'm sleepy now. So, thanks guys for watching. Have a creepy night.